to be trying to exalt yourself. Because you got to remember, it's about service. It's not about you being somebody. It's about you helping and doing what you can do and doing what you need to do to get into God's kingdom. So he said, putting out forth yourself in the presence of the king and stand not in the place of great men. Even Jesus quoted this in the New Testament. Go ahead, verse 7.
For better it is that it be said unto thee, come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen.
See, so he said, don't put yourself forth. In other words, don't go and take the best seat in the house. You might have been invited somewhere, but you know you weren't supposed to sit all the way up there. So he's telling you to have a humble spirit and just sit, if you need, because if you're supposed to be sitting up there, ultimately you're going to get called up there. But now you would be embarrassed if you take it upon yourself to go sit there. And he said, for better is it be said to come up hither, then thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thou hast seen. So they call you up there. But don't embarrass yourself by going up there and them tell you, oh, you sitting in somebody else's seat. You got to go to the back. That'd be embarrassing. See? But now we get back to the lesson, verse 16. Skip down to verse 16. Go ahead.
Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited.
See, you can always have too much of a good thing, too. So even getting too carried away with yourself, that's what you call too much of a good thing. So that's kind of what he's leading to. He said here first, hast thou found honey? Now, honey is good. But you don't want too much honey, do you? Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. So even too much honey is not good. Honey is good. Anything sweet is good, but you can eat too much of a good thing, and then it don't become good no more. It done turn bad now, right? Now you're throwing up. So that means something. But go ahead, verse 17.
Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee.
Oh, this is something. I just threw this in here since we was right here at verse 16, because I seen this over the years. I seen people in the Word. See, sometimes we think we're in the Word, that we can throw everything out the window. No, I seen people in the Word over here. I can see people, they having good relationships and good friendship. And then all of a sudden they get carried away. And again, you can have too much of a good thing, right? So you need to know when to draw the line, don't you? Because anything, you can overdo anything. And I've seen this happen numerous times where people, then all of a sudden they good friends in the Word. Next thing you know, they hit the fan, they done fell out, and everybody upset with each other. Well, you done tried to have too much of a good thing. You got to know how to do things in moderation. So that's what he said here. Because sometimes you might say, well, they in the Word, they should understand. No, you need to understand that everybody still got to go on with their life. So you see what he said? Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house. Now this is people in the Word, right? This is somebody supposed to know the Lord. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee and so hate thee. Because again, you eating too much honey now. Honey is good, but you can wear that out. But now, skip down to verse 27. Skip down to verse 27 and go ahead.
It is not good to eat much honey.
See, again, he's talking about honey again, right? He said it's not good to eat much honey. Go ahead.
So for men to search their own glory is not glory.
Oh, so for men to search their own glory is not glory. See, it's like you patting yourself on the back. That's why they got an old saying, don't break your arm patting yourself on the back. He said it's not good. You can overdo a good thing, right? It's not good to eat much honey. So for men to search their own glory, that's not real glory. If you got to be the one bring it up, then that's not glory. The glory really would come when you let somebody else tell you. And be satisfied even if don't nobody tell you, if you doing what you supposed to do. That's what you should be satisfied in. Because again, that's why I said sometimes people can feel, because I done felt that way before. I ain't going to lie to you. You can feel like, I'm doing this, and people don't appreciate what I'm doing. Then that's again when you need to step back and ask yourself, what am I doing it for? See, I did some things before I left from under my teacher. I did a lot of things over there. But see, I understood it. I wasn't doing something for Bowie. Even though Bowie, I love Bowie, he really liked the father I didn't have. Because I met my own father when I was 8 years old. So, but see, the things that I was doing, I wasn't doing it for him. Even though I was close with him, talked to him almost every day, still talk to him now. But I knew I wasn't doing what I was doing for him. Because the one that I'm trying to please and serve is the Lord. So if you keep that in mind, then you won't get disillusioned and dissatisfied if somebody don't seem to be appreciating what you're doing. You won't get that way because you ain't doing it for nobody anyway. But sometimes in our mind, we might think we're doing it for the Lord, but really we trying to please somebody else. That's when you have to straighten yourself up and realize that you're on the wrong path. Just like I talk about somebody trying to sing. Sometimes people say they're going to sing and do a CD. That's why I told the choir, look, we ain't worried about trying to do no professional CD, not to try to make no whole lot of money or nothing like that. We just trying to glorify the Lord. It ain't about trying to make no money, because if you start focusing on making money, then that's going to be your goal, and you're going to be off track from the real mission. You're going to forget what it is. I done seen people start fighting over copyrighted stuff. Know the truth. They know the truth, and I done seen them start fighting over nonsense. So that's why you got to keep in mind what you are supposed to be about, just a servant. Let's go to Philippians 2. Back to the New Testament. Philippians 2. Philippians 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 2. So now we just learned, Solomon said, even too much honey is not good, and for you to search your own glory, that's not real glory. And we're going to show you what kind of glory that is. It's not real glory, but it can be called glory. You can think it's glory, so we're going to tell you what kind. Philippians 2 and verse 2. Go ahead.
Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
Now he said, be like-minded. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. See, that's what we got to remember, that we all supposed to be on the same accord and one mind. If we all serve the same God and got the same goal, that is to get into the kingdom, it shouldn't be no big disparity. Anything else is secondary, it is minor, it is minute, anything else. Just like I said, that's why we don't even get into a whole bunch of committees. You just need people that's willing to take care of some business. But we don't get into a bunch of committees, unless it's necessary. Because I've seen people in committees start fighting each other over nothing. Fighting. But they caught up on the wrong thing. I seen people, we had a meeting one time, and I seen people start arguing over what kind of drapes to get. Because now everybody got their idea of how things should be. But obviously, if you got 5 people and 5 ideas, you only need one, right? So somebody idea, and people take it personally if their idea don't get used. Look, if you for the whole, you ain't gonna take that personally. Even if you don't think that that's the best idea, but that show you it's personal if you worried about your idea. That show you it's personal. You didn't get offended when John's idea didn't go by. You didn't get that offended, did you? So that show you it was personal. It was about your idea. But that shows you how easy you can get off track, because we are forgetting that we're supposed to be servants. We're putting ourselves more higher than we should be. So that's why he's talking like this. He said, fulfill ye my joy, that you be like-minded, having the same love, being a one accord, a one mind. So we striving to be a one accord and a one mind, not 15 different minds. We striving to be a one mind. Go ahead, verse 3.
Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory.
Now, why does he have to say that? Because somebody would do that, right? Somebody would do something in strife or vainglory. That means they doing it for the wrong reason, aren't they? See, that's the glory that's not real glory, because it's vainglory. You trying to push, but what you striving for is vainglory. He said, don't do it. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. Like I said, I learned a long time ago. I was sitting looking. I was saying, well, that could be done better. That can be done better. Then finally it said, well, if it can be done better, why don't you do it better instead of talking about it? Right, Lord. So then I realized, so instead of criticizing, hey, if you can't do nothing to help it, ain't no need even saying nothing. And if you can, then quit talking about it and just do what needs to be done. So, but that's what he's saying. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness, go ahead, finish that.
But in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
Now that's something, isn't it? He said in lowliness of mind. See, but that's contrary to the fleshly thought. The fleshly thoughts esteem themselves, don't they? That's what the fleshly mind, we are better than everybody else. That's according to the flesh. That's the natural mindset that we have automatically. That's why you had to get a reprogramming and start thinking different. That's why he said how your mind transformed. So he said, but in lowliness of mind. See, again, it'd be easy if you keep in mind that that's what you are, that you are a lowly servant. You're a servant. You're not somebody's king sitting on a throne somewhere. You're a servant. He said, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. See, and that's how you will be in oneness of mind. You won't be putting yourself forth and everybody putting themselves forth and clashing. Like I seen that even with people in the truth. But go ahead, verse 4.
Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others.
See, don't be concerned about you. Like I said, that you out of step, because sometimes we would try to front and say, well, it's about the gospel, it's about this, but really it's about you personally, because you wouldn't feel the same way if it was somebody else. You get mad beyond reason because you feel slighted. But when the same thing happened to sister so-and-so, you wasn't that mad. You might say, oh, yeah, well, don't worry about it. But when it happened to you, you was ready to blow a gasket. So that showed you it really wasn't a godly thing. It was about you. So that's why he's telling you again, verse 4, look not every man on his own things. See, because it ain't about us, is it? But every man also on the things of others. Now let's look at an example. Go to a number, because we got these examples in the Bible, so we keep ourselves straight. And we can't help but have some foolish thoughts and even make some mistakes, but we can do better. That's why the title is Be a Better Servant, even a son. Numbers 12. Numbers 12. Numbers 12. This is a real old example for us. And this is some people who was close to God, but just like the disciples for a moment, they talk about who the greatest. Well, these people got on the same stuff. Numbers 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. See, this is people that know the Lord now, that's trying to serve and even help in the ministry. But that's when you have some problems. Numbers 12 and 1. Go ahead.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.